First this hour, tear gas and stones are flying once again in Tahrir Square as riot police and protesters clash in Cairo. State television says over 150 people have been injured. The protesters have been taking to the streets, protesting against the military rulers who've been in control now since President Mubarak was toppled in February. They're demanding the withdrawal of a proposal that declares the military the guardian of constitutional legitimacy. The protest was arranged by the Islamist Muslim Brotherhood and supported by some secular activists. Well, to discuss this now, let's talk to Pepe Escobar, columnist and correspondent for the Asia Times. Pepe, good to see you tonight. We're looking at those pictures coming through. The crowd's still out there 24 hours on. Violence has clearly returned to Tahrir Square. Are we about to see another revolution?
Look, first of all, let's identify the players. This is very important. This is basically a war of positioning at the moment. We have SCAF, the George Orwell denominator Supreme Council of the Military Forces. We have at least 5 different strands of the Muslim Brotherhood. Since the old school, which is much more radical, let's put it this way, and some that are more moderate and even accept secular law side by side with Sharia law. And we have the secular movement led by the youngsters, the April 6 movement. They want a Western-style parliamentary democracy. So what we're seeing in Tahrir Square at the moment is the Muslim Brotherhood basically fighting SCAF. Why? First of all, SCAF, they said the elections would be in September. They postponed it to November in a few days' time. From the point of view of the Muslim Brotherhood, this is not very good because they were very well organized from the beginning to contest the elections. And they think that this postponing favors secular forces. And second, the military, they want to impose what's going to happen in the new constitution, which is not going to be very much Sharia law oriented. And this, for at least 2 of the 5 different strands of the Muslim Brotherhood, is a no-no. But meanwhile, some secular people, they're also protesting because they want the military out of the picture altogether. And obviously that's not going to happen.
So, Pepe, where is this all going to go? And if more and more people start turning out onto the streets again, what's the West going to say about it?
Look, viewers should make the direct comparison. We have a military dictatorship in Egypt repressing people in a square. And we have a financial dictatorship in New York repressing people in a square. So, try to make this connection and you see that the whole thing is turning upside down. Coming back to Egypt, more important than going to the square at the moment, I would say, is to organize a political participation because everything depends on these parliamentary elections. They start in a few days. They will go on for a few months. They're going to elect a constituent assembly, and then they're going to promulgate the new constitution of the country. And everything derives from that. So, much better than going to the square, these youngsters, the secular youngsters, they should be organizing themselves politically. Because the Muslim Brotherhood, they still have the numbers, they still have the organization to push Egypt towards Sharia law, almost an Islamist state, which is something that definitely the West doesn't want.
I can see your plan there, but of course Pepe Escobar isn't the guy in charge. So what do you think is going to happen in reality here? The Muslim Brotherhood, will we see more of them? Will the Islamists eventually take power?
It's very hard to tell. No crystal balls, of course, but what's going to happen possibly is majority of the Muslim Brotherhood more, I wouldn't say, some are radical, some are hardcore Salafi, some are radical, but some they just want what is very similar to the AKP in Turkey. It's a strong Islamist party, but it's also secular, but they keep the army in check. So I assume that the best model from the point of view of the Muslim Brotherhood for Egypt would be the Turkish model. It's not necessarily necessarily what the Google generation wants. But for that, they need badly to organize themselves into very strong political parties and to be stronger and stronger in the next few months.
Pepe, while you're there, and we'll keep these pictures on over your shoulder there, we're just looking at the live pictures coming through from Tahrir Square. We're bringing our viewers. It's difficult to see exactly what's going on. You can see an awful lot of people in the square there. As I say, we've heard there have been over 150 injuries over the last 24 hours. Is there a danger, do you think, that this could escalate into bloodshed over the next couple of days?
Yes, it depends on what they call the Tantawi junta, after Field Marshal Tantawi, the leader of SCAF. They are in a very difficult position. If they repress this Syrian style, this is going to get out of hand, especially against the Muslim Brotherhood. And if we see let's say, an enlargement of what's going on in Tahrir Square with all the factions of the Muslim Brotherhood, plus the Google generation, everybody in the square against the military dictatorship per se, which is something that could happen within the next few weeks, let's put it this way. Then we're going to have Tahrir Square too.
We're watching
and the regime is going to respond a la Mubarak.
Well, we're watching extremely closely. Thanks for your input and your thoughts, Pepe Escobar. It was a pleasure to see you, columnist and correspondent for the Asia Times.